Hello and welcome back to Offroad Outlaws, y'all, and in this video we're going to be talking about some things that you can either do if you're bored in the game, or just things that you may not have known that you could do in the first place. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Now, let's say you have no idea how much time you have available to play the game once you've loaded it up, but you want something fun and entertaining to do. Well, I recommend going to Hell's Edge because right after the initial spawn point, you actually have an enormous rock mountain fixture thing. It's really just like a giant mound of rock that you can use as a makeshift crawler course that you can attack from all sides to see if you can make it to the top. Now, on my first attempt, I almost made it to the very top, and then I fell off, and then, well, I spent the next basically 5+ minutes trying to get back to the top again to no avail. Now, one thing I will say, though, is definitely make sure you have a crawler with very soft suspension, because if you don't, you will get thrown off of the side of this hill because it is extremely steep. Other than that, though, it's definitely a really fun place to hang out. And what I really like about this spot in particular is the fact that you can hang out here by yourself and have a really good time. You can hang out here with like one friend, or maybe 2, or maybe 3 other friends, and you can spend like a half hour trying to make it to the top of this massive rock, and you may make it, you may not, but you're still going to have an absolute blast regardless. Now, one of the biggest things, and I cannot stress this enough about coming to this spot, is if you don't come here with a crawler that already has extremely soft suspension, you will get frustrated, you will get angry, and you probably won't come back. And you're not gonna make it more than like 5 feet up this thing unless your suspension is ridiculously soft already. So if you haven't already set your crawler up like that, definitely make sure you do so before hanging out here and trying to actually make it to the top of this hill. Next up, this map probably needs no introduction at all, but I did still want to include it in here, and this is Baja Trophy Extreme. Now, Baja Trophy Extreme, you can come out here in practically anything and really see if it's actually cut out for Baja truck use or not, because this map, if you are not on it 100% of the time, you will not make the gaps, you will not get the rhythm right, but it will genuinely teach you how to build a better Baja truck. Now, the truck that I am running right now is by no means Baja related whatsoever. This is actually my main tow rig right now, but it does have a little bit of speed to it. And ironically, the stiffer suspension is not as bad out here as I might have thought it would have been. Now, one thing I will go ahead and recommend, though, is that if you have trucks with access to full gear range tuning, tune some of them with longer gears and tune some of them with shorter gears and see which ones work better for the given truck at hand, because not every gearing setup is going to work the same for every truck, especially on a map like this. And now, let's move on to one of the maps that I am extremely excited to share some new details with y'all about. Now, some of y'all might be like, wait a minute, I know this place. This is Kentucky Hills Farms. I've seen this place before. Why are you bringing it up? This map's been around for forever. And it has, but it was recently updated with one of the most detailed neighborhoods, especially if you're into roleplay in Offroad Outlaws. This is one of the most detailed neighborhoods I have seen to this day. And not only in terms of visuals, but also in terms of interactability. And the reason I say that is because, let's say, for example, you wanted this house right here on the side of the street, right? You could get out of your truck and you could just hang out here, or you could work in your garage. You have a freaking workbench back there. You have a usable front porch where you can hang out with friends. You have steps that you can actually literally walk up onto your front porch with. And this is actually one of the less detailed houses in this neighborhood, because as you go further and further back in the neighborhood, you'll actually be able to see more and more details within every single house. Now, let's go a little bit further on down the street and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, when we go into this one, they don't have a garage, but they do have a carport, and they also have an amazing back porch. This has a fire pit, it's got a picnic table, it's got wood that's stored under the stairs, but it also has stairs that you can actually use buggy as they may be, to get up onto the back porch, or rather the back deck. The porch is down below and then the deck is up top, although this is more of a balcony than a deck because it's not all that much of a, surface area. I'm not good with house terms, only vehicle terms. But like I said, this only gets better and better and better as you go further into the neighborhood. Now, I do wonder though, if you're like doing an RP scenario with friends, I do wonder if this will cause a little bit of squabbling over who gets which house. I could totally see that turning into something a little bit more, I don't know, back and forth. Now, this one is really, really cool, although because of the height, if you stand in the wrong place, the character will actually jump up and down, and I think it's because of the ceiling height, but regardless, you have a full screened in deck with like a picnic table on it and everything. Super, super cool detail, although the only issue again with that detail is the fact that because of the height of the ceiling, the character tends to, well, go basically trampoline mode, and there's really no way to stop it. The only way that I found to stop it is to crouch before you go up the stairs and then stay crouched, although that doesn't always work. So again, play around with that and see what works for you. Now, my favorite so far is this one though, at the end of the street. And once you go around into the backyard, it's very easy to see why. Now, this has a fully fleshed out backyard with a back porch, fire pit, all of that good stuff, and the actual upper level that's fully screened in as well. Well, not really fully screened in, but fully walled in is what I meant to say. This one has a higher ceiling, and so you don't really ever experience that bouncing feature unless you, I say feature, not really a feature. It's a bug, not a feature. No, it's a feature, not a bug. Either way, as long as you don't stand on top of the picnic table like this, you won't run into the bouncing problem. Or if you stand on the side of the staircase. I don't know why the game does that. I think it's something to do with the way the physics work and the way the objects interact with each other. Regardless, it's very easy to avoid if you know how to avoid it, but just know that that can and sometimes does happen. But whether you're looking to go rock crawling or if you're looking to do a lengthy, in-depth roleplay scenario or maybe some racing or whatever combination of all three or something in between, there's definitely something for you here in Offroad Outlaws. Now, one of the things that I'm curious to know actually is, y'all, let me know in the comments down below what you do if, let's say, you don't really know what you want to do in Offroad Outlaws, but you only have a few minutes, you're going to load up the game, and you just want something to do. What does that end up being for you? What is your, I guess, I don't really have any plan for what I'm going to do in the game, but I still want to load it up and do something. What do you gravitate to? What do you end up doing? Is it like building and tuning and customizing trucks? Is it building a new RP scenario? Is it picking a new house on an RP map? Is it maybe, I don't know, like trying to improve a time on one of the in-game courses? Is it trying to conquer a rock obstacle that you may not have conquered before? Is it, again, building a new vehicle or something in between? Let me know in the comments down below. And another thing that I do want to bring up before we finish is if you are kind of feeling like you're running out of things to do in Offroad Outlaws, but you do want something that at the very least will get you usually anyway, will get you a really good laugh, use the vehicle build randomizer. The customization randomizer is freaking hilarious, and 9 times out of 10, it will give you either a hilarious result or a horrible result that's also still funny, or sometimes it'll actually give you something where you're like, oh, elements of this are actually pretty sick. Let me save this for some of my other builds. So I've actually gotten some really fun results out of the vehicle randomizer before, and it's something that if you never play around with it, or maybe it's a feature that you were like, no, that's kind of like a dumb feature, why would I use that? I don't know where that bird came from, by the way. Maybe this map is built on like a higher plane than usual because the birds will fly by at like truck window level sometimes, but either way, the vehicle randomizer, or rather customization, I don't know why I keep calling it the vehicle randomizer when really all it does is randomize the customization options, but the customization randomizer is probably one of the most fun and also most underused features in the game, because even I never used it for like the longest time. Also, yeah, physics will occasionally do that if you fall directly on your side. So again, that's just one of those things that can happen, especially when you've got, look, there's one of the like, you know, window height birds flying by again. No freaking clue why that happens. But if y'all enjoyed this Offroad Outlaws video, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time.